there's no better time to be a freelancer or to be somebody to start your own business than right now. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, first off, I want to say thank you and welcome to the first official podcast of The Wave. We are SevenSeas Media. My name is Alex Franco. I'm here with my best friend and my sister.
Who's also your best friend?
Who is also my best friend, you're right.
So your two best friends?
And this here is our pilot episode of The Wave podcast. You guys know what pilot means?
Yeah,
Yep.
the first.
It's who drives the plane.
Like
Person who drives a plane, yes.
yeah, like the thing that the first.
Oh,
The
pilot,
first.
yeah, and like TV pilot means
Like
the pilot. It's kind of like a proposal
the
episode.
introduction.
It's a proposal episode, so
Right,
that's what you
but-
take to the
But why? Why do they call it the
pilot.
pilot?
Because it's
I don't know
what
that.
it's what pretty much
This isn't a guessing
it's the
answer.
start and like what drives everything else. Right?
Yeah, I
Could be.
guess. I mean, I did a little bit of research myself, and there's not really any solution. All the answers I got was what you guys were saying, but the best explanation I got is that the pilot is the one that takes off, right? So, I don't know. Just a little fun fact there to begin with.
Okay.
Pilot episode. How you guys feeling?
Take off like Migos.
Natalie?
It's a party
Nervous?
in the USA. I don't know why I just did that.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Because we had a special interview planned for this first episode, but unfortunately we had a last minute cancellation, and this ended up being the most winged episode we can do. We have zero questions
Yeah.
prepared, nothing.
This is.
We're
all
gonna
this
just
is
This
get
is
raw.
straight improvisation.
Just-
improvisado at the top of the dome.
Yeah, honestly, just speak what's from the heart and
So whatever happens, and this is it. But anyways, it's been quite the journey from graduating high school to becoming who we are right now, right? We've come a long way. Natalie, the newest addition to the team. How did you even end up here? Like, what happened?
honestly, I think God
She
just
came
led me
upstairs.
here.
Other than just walking up the stairs, how did you get here? Tell us.
How did I get here? Like, what do you mean? Like,
How did you get here? How did you end up as a part of? You're wearing the Create Something T-shirt. What happened? What led to this moment? To you being on our pilot episode of SevenSeas Media's The Wave.
well, here's the thing. Obviously, I graduated I graduated high school. Obviously, like what now? Like 8 years ago.
8 years.
No, sorry, 4 years ago. 4
Okay.
years ago.
You
4
guys
years
can
ago,
get used to that.
four-
Natalie's a bit tongue twisted.
Sorry, sometimes I get stuck with my words.
Yes.
Okay, 4 years ago I graduated high school, 2016, and I just recently graduated college, 2020. And just in the midst of obviously like everyone, I mean, whoever graduated college can relate. Sometimes like if you don't know exactly what's next, like, you know, you take any opportunity that's in front of you. And not only was this opportunity right in front of me, but I've always like, I'm super proud of my brother and like just his passion for SevenSeas Media and like just being able to witness like firsthand like all the hard work he's put into it. Really just like it inspired me, and like his passion like ran, how do you say that, like spilled over onto me, and like
It's like
I
contagious.
started to feel passionate about it, and like, you know, we're not going to talk about it today, but we've been dreaming and like for the future, and like I can really just see myself here. And I mean, who knows, like I don't know, God only knows what's really going to happen, but I mean it kind of just fell into place. Like maybe this is just a transition, maybe it's something that's really going to teach me what I'm passionate about and what I'm really meant to do. But for the time being, like this is what I'm doing, and I'm kind of just sticking with it, and it's been great. I'm learning a lot, and yeah, I guess that's kind of how I ended up here.
I feel like it couldn't have come at a better time. Like her graduation with COVID, you know, I think you're a good addition to the team. But like with all this going on, like not a lot of people are hiring, a lot of people are firing. as
Yeah.
opposed to like when an opportunity like presents itself like this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't take, you're kind of like skeptical. You're a little bit scared.
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
weird
it was
times.
it was either like take the opportunity or just sit around waiting for the next opportunity. You know, like while I'm waiting for really to realize what it is that God has in store for me, like I'm learning and I'm kind of just like submerging myself. Even the fact that I don't know anything, I'm just like putting myself, like risking being here because I want to grow and I want to learn and I want to
Right.
give my all and see what comes of it.
No, it's definitely a weird time to be graduating college. I can't imagine any other. I mean, there's literally no other generation that has had to walk the stage virtually.
We didn't
Not
even
walk the stage, right? For as long as we can remember, like our parents and their parents, and like as long as history, freaking the books write it. You know, there's been never as time such as this. So, I mean, it's definitely like a weird time. But something that I've always said, even before COVID, like when I first started creating this company, is that there's no better time to be a freelancer or to be somebody to start your own business than right now, right? With all the technology and all the, you know, resources that we have, like literally anything that you want to do, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
Whatever your passion is, you know, say you like
It's within arm's
sneakers,
reach.
you like plants, you like Pepsi, like whatever the hell you like to do, as long as you're good at it and you lean into it. And I guess what I'm trying to get to is that, and it's the whole premise of 7Seas Media, right? Media, because we're a media company, and at the end of the day, in order to be successful in this generation, all you have to do is be able to make media, make content, right? So that's what we stand for, right? And like that's why I think you were such a good addition to the team. Not just you, but literally anybody who puts their minds to it, they can join the team. Not just my team, but like the way we set it up is that anybody can come along, right? Anybody with a passion, right? So Nati, you have a passion to help others. You have a passion to do missions trips. To what was a trip that you did to like Brazil? I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that. Like this summer, she just came back from like this awesome mission trip. She was out there for what, 2 weeks?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that trip was a defining factor for my life. I guess I'll talk a little bit about it. So, I went on a mission trip to Brazil with my school, and we partnered with an organization over there called the Justice Movement, and they are basically a ministry that works to eradicate human trafficking. And honestly, like, trying to make the long story short, like, and not to be cliche or anything, but it literally changed my life because I feel like God really shook me and made me realize what I'm truly passionate about. I think it's important, like, when you're trying to, obviously I'm still learning, but like, whatever makes your heart ache or even break, there's a lot, like, God is trying to tell you a lot through that. And on that trip, like, my heart broke so much. Like, I felt so heavy for, like, I met a lot of, like, the women that this organization, you know, that they work to establish relationships with and help to get them out of these really horrible situations. And I met a lot of, like, prostitutes and, like, even their children, and just experiencing that firsthand, like, just broke my heart so much and opened my eyes to, like, how much need and brokenness there is in this world. And it made me realize how passionate I am for just, like, social justice. And, like, on that trip, it kind of made me, it really defined the fact that I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing in my life, but I know that whatever it is, I want to be doing something where I'm fighting for people and for social justice, and whatever the realm is. So that's a very long story short, but it was honestly, like,
And if I'm not
super
mistaken,
important.
what you were doing over there is helping women who were victims of trafficking, of sex trafficking.
Yeah.
So would you say that that's like something that you feel as it's like a calling for you in the future? Like you want to keep leaning into that reel of work, I would
100%,
say.
yeah. And not just like, yes, human trafficking victims, women, men, families, children, but just in general, like, people groups. I mean, for me, obviously, I've always been passionate about being able to empower women, and that's an area where I've realized, like, there's some, like, women who are struggling and are really broken. So that's that's 100% an area that I do want to focus on, but not just limited to human trafficking. You know,
Right.
like just
people in
families,
need.
yeah, in need and poverty and situations that are really, really heartbreaking.
It's good. I mean, and that's going back to where this whole thing started, is that's the whole premise of 7Seas Media. Like, at the end of the day, you don't, like, I guess this generation, there's we have companies like Tesla, companies like Amazon, companies like Apple, they're just already dominating all the brilliant new ideas, all the innovation and all that. So somebody like you, somebody like me, like a little creator fresh out of college, not knowing what to do, like, if we wanted to make a new business, like, it would really take a brilliant idea in order to actually revolutionize the world and get rich off of just that idea, right? But the beauty of this generation is that you don't need a brilliant idea in order to make money, in order to get people's attention, right? What you need is just what I just said. Is what you need is to get people's attention, right? Because at the end of the day, the money is where your customers are, and how do you, where your customers at, their attention, where is it? It lives online, right? We're making a video right now about how people spend 1/3 of their days on consuming content online, right?
Yeah.
And businesses nowadays, back in the day, to run an ad or to make an ad, to reach out to your customer base, you had to, either fight with like other companies for like a spot in the newspaper or for 30 seconds between commercial breaks and stuff like that. But nowadays, it's not like that. Nowadays, all you need is a smartphone and a message, right? So the beauty of 7Seas Media, of this company, of this thing that we're starting together, is that we're not only empowering people, letting them know and sharing this message, sharing this word, but we're giving them the tools to do it, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you have an iPhone and you can do it, then what we're telling you is to go ahead and just do it, right? We're here with some fancy lights, and fancy lights right now, to be honest, is all we have, because we're sitting in my bedroom. We moved my bed over.
Should we show them?
We'll take a picture and we'll show them later what this is. I mean, this is a podcast. You can't really show on a podcast.
Behind the
but-
scenes,
That's true.
none of any.
But if you want to check out where we're shooting out of right now, I recommend you go follow us on official 7Seas Media on Instagram.
Boom.
And
TikTok, we're The Wave Miami,
The Wave.
I believe.
Right. So The Wave, should we talk about The Wave? Why The Wave?
Yeah, why The Wave? Why The Wave?
How about Dan? Dan knows why The Wave.
Why the wave?
Dan the man.
Well, that takes me back to my rough times on the sea when I was going to the Bahamas. No, but
Really though.
well, I mean, just like being out on the ocean, kind of like you don't know what's going on. You don't know what you're gonna be getting into. You don't know what is going on like beyond the horizon. So it's kind of like
It's
scary.
just such
It's
a
very,
mysterious place.
it's very
Uncertain.
mysterious.
Yes.
Mysterious.
So as
Insurmountable.
Scary.
as a group of creatives together, we're trying to help creatives and entrepreneurs here in Miami and even abroad get past and see beyond the insurmountable seas and mysterious ways of marketing of the internet and how to get noticed and how to really stand out online. And
Right.
it can be scary for somebody who's not familiar with the internet, who thinks that their business is something that they're doing as a side hobby, while they're doing their 9 to 5 or something, and they're just kind of like scared of what the next step can take their business, can
Yeah.
bring to their business. So we're kind of just making a little bit clear, kind of like taking off the drunk goggles and like revealing the light to like what can be done. And it's pretty easy if you like really apply yourself and use the tools necessary.
I think what a lot of people get like stuck on, they get like you said, the drunk goggles on, is that they're not a photographer, they're not a designer, or maybe they don't have their own website, they don't have any of that. At the end of the day, all you need is Wi-Fi, one, which I'm pretty sure everybody has Wi-Fi.
True.
Two, a smartphone, right? If you have a Razr, Motorola Razr or a BlackBerry, I guess that works.
I mean, Razors, they just came out with the Razors that are fully touchscreen, so that can work.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I
fine.
haven't seen one person yet with one of those,
I
but
have not even
You have it?
seen
But
a
eventually.
razor.
I mean, at the end of the day, like nowadays, people either have an Android or an iPhone, I know that because I've seen the analytics, and people who view my website are like 99% iPhone and everybody else Android. So if you're reading this podcast or watching this podcast,
listening to this
podcast, I don't know, bro. You see what I mean? Like, there's so much type of media. Like, like you can watch a podcast, you can hear a podcast, you can feel a podcast.
If you're reading the transcript below.
I had a friend,
how
Santa,
about
he was blind,
feeling-
and he could feel a podcast. Like, I could print it out in, what's that manuscript called? Braille. You know, in Braille, and he would feel my podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, people who
That's how you know
are deaf.
You're really feeling it.
People who are deaf have to like learn to.
That's Braille.
To
Blind.
speak Braille.
Blind.
You know what's something like that
If you're
I never
deaf, you can
understood
just read
about
it.
Braille, bro? Like if you're a blind person, and because you know, at least in my high school, I don't know how it was for everybody else, but in my high school, all the Braille was like on the room numbers or on the you know. So like these blind people, like, how do they get to where it's at? You know?
They're so smart. I don't know.
I don't say that they're smart, but like you place the Braille here, like how do they get to that Braille? Like
They
you have
gotta
to guide
touch
them.
it.
Think there's somebody
Remember
guiding them in that direction?
Santa?
Santa. Fanny's husband. Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like a Braille version of like a map of school, a campus, wherever
Right.
you work, and
And
you
you
can
just
like
kinda
feel
like-
out, so you're like, all right.
I'm sure like the trick behind all of it is like that it's always at the same level. I don't know. My dog is blind,
I mean,
and she
yeah,
the
you
first
just-
week she was like
sniffs.
all over the place,
Your senses that you don't have working, they're heightened
right,
because
heightened.
they're heightened.
Heightened.
I can't attest to that because I've never had to rely on that, but I can feel like if you lose a leg, you're gonna learn to adjust, and you're gonna like be stronger with your right, left, or with your right foot, or like
With
you're
your
gonna
right, left.
Yeah.
with your right.
I don't know.
left.
That's just always something that's
So like you maybe learn to like focus in. If you don't have to see, like you're like, all right, I'm thinking, like I'm hearing this.
Speaking about having to see, Nati, I had a question for you. Since you're literally just graduated class of 2020, the greatest year of our generation, how did you like? Because I know, coming up, like leading the past couple weeks, leading up to your graduation, you were like a little bit confused
Yeah.
about what you're gonna be doing.
It's a little intimidating that time.
Of course.
I know when I was graduating,
That's a
I
tough
was
time,
like, damn,
especially if you
like,
don't have
what?
anything to do. Talk about like how you felt, how you know what your intentions were before going into college, and like how they evolved by the time you were graduating and where you're at now.
So that's a good question because I honestly was in a very mentally and emotionally I was very disheartened and what's the word, like frustrated and kind of hopeless because honestly like most of my best friends at this point like have like a clear cut idea of what they're passionate about, what they want to do with their careers, and I was kind of just like, I mean, I know it's normal for someone coming out of college to like be unclear, but for me, like, I was kind of like sort of the only one in my friend group, like close friend group, that was like just super unclear. And so
But don't be so sure of that either, because some people
That's
like
true.
they'll
That's
they
true.
put on
You're
a
right.
facade
Valid.
I want to be a
Valid,
doctor.
valid.
That's it. But like
yeah.
they're like,
And also,
what kind of
like, there's
doctor?
people
What am I gonna
who have a nice super idea of what they're gonna do in their life, and then it ends up being like nothing of that. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I was in a place where I was kind of like very just disheartened, and this was like before I went on the mission trip to Brazil. I honestly just being raw. I got to a place where I was just in my room one night, got on my knees, just like kind of just really crying out to God, like, all right, Lord, like, I'm about to graduate college and I'm still super unclear, like, you know, like, what is it that you have in store for me, or like at least like give me kind of an idea for me to like work towards. And I was like, you know, I'm going on to Brazil in a couple of weeks, like I'm gonna put it in your hands, and I'm gonna pray that like on this trip you're gonna, even if it's just one thing that I can hold on to, like I want to put it in your hands. And truly, like, he
Surpassed.
yeah, he surpassed that prayer, because just crazily, it's crazy how really God used specific people and just the experience of the entire trip to really clarify my passion for just women hurting, heartbroken, like really broken women, families, and children, like the women in human trafficking, and just people in poverty and in need, how my heart broke for that, and how God used certain people to really kind of just solidify the fact that I'm somehow called to fight for social justice and to be a voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. And so yeah, like that's like I mentioned before, Brazil, God answered that prayer through Brazil, and I kind of just held on to that, like even though I'm still like not completely unsure, but I don't know what the details are, but I at least have that like thing I can hold on to, like God is gonna like, and I don't know why I feel led to say this, but I think the advice that I want to say to somebody who's in the position of like you're discouraged, that you don't really know what's next for you, and you're like the sea, you know, it's life is very uncertain right now, especially with Corona. I don't know if like you lost your job, if your family's like going through something really difficult. There's a verse in the Bible that says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I don't know if I said that right, and I don't. We can find the specific verse.
Sounds right.
But there's a reason why it says that God's word is a lamp to our feet. So, and this is an analogy that I read one time in a devotional. If you like envision yourself at night, pitch dark, in a forest, and all you have is a lamp, right? It's pitch black. When you're in a forest, like you don't see anything, and all you have is a lamp. That lamp is only going to shine a light on the step right before you. So you take that step, and then you see the next step. You take that step, and you see the next step. That lamp is not going to light up the entire forest. Like, you're going to see the whole entire thing. And that's really why, like, that says that. Like, God, that's where my hope lies, in knowing that I don't need to know the full details. I don't need to know what I'm going to be doing 2 years from now, 5 years from now. All I need to know is that God is guiding me, and his word is a lamp to my feet. And as long, and really that's what I feel like Brazil was for me. It was like that one step with the light, with the lamp. It's like God told me, hey, I'm calling you for something like with social justice. Okay, God. All right. I'm going to stick to that until you show me the next step. I'll take that next step. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
That's a really good like thought going into it. And I think that can also be kind of like your if God is that kind of like light to the next step, you can use that as your North Star to be like, all right, what can I take? What's going to guide me to take that next step in that right direction? And that can give you a little bit of like insight as to like what he's trying to tell you with your next step.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
How about you? I want to ask you, like, before all of this came to pass, like the business idea, and you were kind of playing around. I feel like you were also in that place where like you didn't know what the heck was gonna happen, and you were just taking opportunities in your way.
That's why I said it's commonplace for a lot of graduates.
To be honest with you, man, I still don't know what's gonna happen. Like to me, every single day that I move forward, like I move one step closer and one step closer, like things start becoming a lot more clear. But if you let yourself get freaked out because you're not where you want to be right now, that's when
you're losing.
Yeah.
That's when everything goes wrong, because your mind goes from moving forward to, oh my God, where am I? What's going on?
You're getting disoriented. You're kind of like looking around.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is just to lean into, number one, what God has called you to do. Number two, what you're passionate about. And number three, what is going on around you at the moment, right?
And let me just say one thing. I also, you asked me like where was my mindset before all of this. I actually had planned to go straight out of college to start my master's. And just with everything that happened with Corona, and like even like just things like talking to my family, and after much prayer, like I realized that, okay, for some, yes, that's cool opportunity, but the best learning you can get is from experience. And right. I think that like all of us can attest to that. Like you found your passion for like and the idea for this business because you decided to take opportunities in your path that allowed you to discover what you're passionate about. And none of this would have happened if you wouldn't have like stepped out to just gain experience in something that maybe you had no idea about. And like that's really like what made me realize like, you know, I honestly don't have much experience. Like I've had like jobs here and there, being a tutor, a teacher's assistant, like things like that, babysitting kids. But what's gonna allow me to really learn and find what I'm passionate about is getting out there, getting my feet wet, getting experience. And that is like little by little, step by step, is things are gonna start to unfold, and you'll discover that, you know. So I guess that's like, I don't know why I said that. It's just because like I just realized that.
You know why you said that? Because you're right here in the right place at the right time. You know what? I believe that. I don't know about anybody else, but I think that as long as you have a passion for something and you have the willingness to make it happen, then you can literally accomplish anything. Because at the end of the day, we live in a time where anything is possible. All you need is a smartphone. All you need is an internet connection and a message to put out there, right? So a lot of people, they get distracted. They think that, you know, oh, let me just post content for the sake of posting content. No, it's not content for the sake of posting content. It's a message, and it's something to say, right? And if you have something to say, the quality doesn't matter. You don't need to be a photographer. You don't need to be a fancy designer. All you need is for somebody to hear your word, whatever it is, that message that you're trying to say, and say, wow, this man's up to something. This girl is
some
up to
initiative,
something.
a little bit of organization, and just like a little bit of drive.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the perfect cocktail for.
So with that being said, guys, we are
forward.
officially out of time. That was the first episode, the pilot, the takeoff
What does
episode.
pilot mean?
And I must say, I'm very proud. I don't know how you guys felt about that. What do you think?
That was fun. I feel like this could have gone on for a couple hours.
Right.
To be
Yeah.
honest, if the cameras rolled that long,
the beauty of it is that this is going to be coming at you every single week. The Wave podcast is officially live. Is launching. Si Dios quiere, if God willing, we're going to be coming at you.
We got some juicy stuff coming up, so you better stay tuned.
Coming at you
Trust.
at the nearest podcast store, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.
Should we give a little teaser, like
Teaser what?
like
Nah.
that question that
Nah,
people really
nah.
talk.
You want to hear what's coming
no,
next week?
no.
You're gonna have to
All right,
subscribe, follow,
fine.
and slide in the DMs.
Send the DMs.
Hit me with a dab.
Send nudes.
Oh, wait, that's a whoop.
The wolf.
All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you had fun. See you later.
Who's